Hi everybody, sorry I haven't put any videos up on this JACKLORE Knives YouTube channel in recent weeks. I had a bit of an accident on a bicycle about just over three and a half weeks ago, and I fell off and I landed very hard on a piece of hard compacted chalk, and it was like concrete, and broke a rib or two, and it meant that certain activities in the knife making I couldn't do. I tried to, but I just couldn't do them. And one of them was putting the stamp into the logo. Let's get a focus on the camera. I don't know if it's going to focus on. You can see the stamp now. So I do this with a hydraulic press, and it requires about 10 tons of hydraulic pressure to put the stamp in. But to get up to the 10 tons, I've got to put in a lot of effort myself. I just wasn't able to do that. So it's only been the last few days that I've been able to start work on some knife blades again. Fortunately for me, I had some blades that I'd already processed past that stage, so I was able to slowly build them up, and I was able to finish them off and thus keep the wolf from the door. But I've just back in the workshop this week, and I've managed to finish off another batch of 6 of the little Whittlers. So this is the second batch of 6. The first batch of 6 I completed. As I say, I'd taken them past the stage where I'd stamped the logo before I fell off the bike, so I was able to gently build them up. They came out really nice. I was sent some wood by a subscriber. I think it was Les Thomas, and he had this particularly nice piece of maple wood that he sent me, and it was a devil to actually stabilise. I never had maple like it, and maple normally stabilises very well, but it was a job to get it to stabilise. Took a long time for it to soak the resin in. And I know when the wood's stabilised properly, because when it's taken all the resin in, it sinks, or it's less buoyant. And so normally maple, I can get that to saturate with a bit of vacuum and then pressure. Generally it will take 3 or 4 days, but this took me the best part of 3 weeks before it would actually sink in the resin. And anyway, it made superb, very hard, durable knife scales, and I fitted it to the batch of Whittlers that I finished, and I was really pleased with the outcome. So I've got 6 more sets of scales to fit on these 6, so these 6 are going to come out exactly the same as the previous 6, similar sort of patterns to the handles, and they really were nice. So I've just hardened these blades, and I don't know if you can see there's quite a polish on them. So what I do, after I've hardened the blade, I clean it all up, and I go through the grits on a wheel, so it's quite a quick process. At this stage I haven't been hand finished, it's just all machine on the wheel, and then I go maybe on these I'll do a 120 grit, take all the scale off, then I'll go to a 400, then I'll go to satin wheel, and then finally I'll polish on a quite a strong cutting compound. And what that does, that takes away any ridges, and it leaves us a polished surface. It's not, you could spend time and get it more polished, but for this process you just want a clean polished surface. And that just means that the diamond indenter on the Rockwell Hardness testing machine has an even surface to work against, and you get less errors with your readings. So I'm just now running through the as quenched hardnesses on the blades. 01 generally comes out around about 65 HRC, maybe a little above. So that's what I'm looking for on these. Each time I take a Rockwell reading, I run through the same procedure. I load up the same, I wait for the handle to come down. I've got my own little ways of doing it. I give the dial a little tap and then I take the reading, and I say we're on about 65.5 HRC on that one. I'll bring it in for a closer look. Let's have a look at that. Can you see that? I think you can see that. So let's just put the camera back. Sorry for the shaky video. This is a bit of an ad hoc video. Let's get the camera back into focus again. You got my ugly mug again. I think that's about right. So that's what I've been doing. They've all come out at 65 and above. So the next process is I just clamp these up. If there's any slight warps, I'll counter. I'll put the warps so that they bend against each other, and then before I put them into the tempering oven, I then clamp them all down, and generally after a couple of temper cycles, they've taken on that new set, and they come out reasonably straight then. So I give them in total 3 temper cycles. The first 2 temper cycles they're clamped, then I'll take them out, measure the RCs again, and generally they'll be where I want them to be, but if they're not, then I've got that last 3rd temper cycle to finally nail them. Sometime later now, and these have been clamped and tempered. They've had 2 temper cycles, so hopefully the clamps have done their job and kept the blades nice and flat. So measure the Rockwell hardness values now. Oh, that's tight. And see where they're at. I'm hoping they're going to be somewhere around about 59 HRC or thereabouts. A little bit harder or a little bit softer isn't too bad, but I'm aiming for about 59. Right, there's a look at the colours on them. So that's get this focused on my face. I'm happy with the colours. The colours look good. The proof of the pudding is how hard they are. So let's have a measurement. Just let the needle settle. It's working at 150 kilograms through levers to apply a certain force. And then unload the machine. And we're just below 59. So that's about 58.8, 58.9. So I'm pretty happy with that. Have a look. Actually, it's more or less bang on 59 actually. So yeah, sorry about the camera, it's all being done live, so to speak. Let's measure another one. See where this one is. It only takes a minute or two to measure each blade. I measure each blade as quenched hardness. You saw earlier that was 65 and above, and then after the second temper cycle, and that was 59, which for 01 is sweet spot. See, that one's slightly high, that was 59.5. So bring you in again. You do get a bit of a variation. What you should do really is measure a blade 3 times and then take the average. That gives you a more accurate reading, because it can vary for whatever reason. Maybe there's a little bit of surface decarb there which has affected it, or the machines are, you know, they don't give a spot on accurate reading to the nth decimal place. They are accurate to within, this machine is supposed to be accurate to within 0.5 of a Rockwell point. Let's see where this one is. I'll bring you in to see what the needle's doing. Just zoom you in a little bit. Unload the machine. That one's just over 59, about 59.2 HRC, which is actually very good. I'm very pleased with that. Very pleased with them all. Let's measure another one. So every time I do a Rockwell measurement, it's always exactly the same procedure, the same amount of time, the same routine. That's all for consistency. That one is just a smidgen above 59. 2 more to measure. Let's see where this one is. 59.4. The last one. 59.5, just over 59.6. Right, it's got me. So there you are. There's the blades. They vary from 58.8, 58.9 to 59.6. So that's a spread of 0.7 of an RC point, which in that range for 01 tool steel is pretty much ideal. They've got one more temper cycle to go. I said that they've had 2 temper cycles. They've got one more to go, and that will be at a lower temperature so as not to affect the readings, and then that gives them the 3 temper cycles that I like to give my blades. And as you can see, let the camera focus, they're all nice and straight. So I'm very happy with that. Beautifully straight. That's what the clamping does. If you clamp your blades, you turn them round, you can turn them round and tip them both ways. And they should always be straight. So these now, as I say, they got to have one more temper cycle. Then it's on to grinding the bevels, hand sanding the flats. Then I've got to fit the scales, shape the scales. The level work, I've been building the level work for these up already because that's one job I could do with my ribs being the way they were. I was able to do some level work. And then wet form the sheaves, finish the sheaves, and then I should have 6 more lovely little Whittlers ready to go. And then after this batch I'm probably going to do some tapered tang classics, and then I've got some camp knives. I know there are a few people waiting for some camp knives, so I've got camp knives to do. But so I've got a pretty hectic schedule at home, to be honest with you, which a lot of you don't really know. Hopefully back on track up to a point with the knife making again going forward. So that's it from me for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. I'll post up on my website JACKLORE when these will be available. So maybe in about another week, toward the end of this week, I might have 1 or 2 of these finished, and then next week I shall have the rest of them finished. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.